UFC 323 is this weekend. Merab Dvalishvili versus Petr Yan Part 2. Merab is now as a defending champ this time around. Fourth title defense this year. Fourth fight this year. Super active. Even though you don't even like Merab's style, I'm not a big fan of his style. The fact that he's super active as a champ and defending is super exciting to watch. It makes him enjoyable, at least somewhat entertaining. And the whole card is pretty good as well. Like, it's just pretty stacked. I would give it like a 7 out of 10, I think, around there. Are we gonna compare it to like the whole UFC, like all the cards ever? But I would say like for this year, it's probably like an 8 or 9. So a very good card. I mean, this is the last pay per view of the year as well. Like, I mean, not just the year ever. We're not gonna be having any more pay per views after this. When we go into the Paramount deal, pay per view model is going to be gone. We got one more card after this, but that's a fight night, not a pay per view. So yes, this is the last pay per view ever. Let me stop wasting your time and let me just go at the very bottom for the first fight of the night in the early prelims at featherweight. Muhammad Naimov versus Mario Santos. This is a good fight to start off the card. Just saying, that's a really good fight. Muhammad Naimov, he's like 5-1 in the UFC. He lost to Andre Lima, bantamweight, lighter man skill. But anyways, he's doing pretty good at featherweight against other featherweights. He does that. He has a pretty good understanding of his entries. Of timing, of spacing. He knows when to go in or when to be patient, not to engage. Really, really good. Fight IQ in that sense. I would say that the issue he really has on the striking is defensively. When he's on the back foot, he struggles a lot. Like, he struggled against Ziam in his debut fight. He was on the back foot on that fight and was getting he was losing up until he found the KO. I mean, he really didn't even find the KO. It was more like Ziam got into range and left his chin exposed, and Naimov took advantage of it. But yeah, he does struggle being on the back foot. He also was struggling against Nathaniel Wood on the back foot. Someone who's somewhat relatively small for featherweight. And Naimov missed weight for that fight. If you don't remember, he missed weight, fought a smaller opponent in general, and was still getting pressured up against the cage and stuff like that. He does struggle in exchanges like that, like just being pushed, like just aggressive strikers. Obviously he also got struggled against Andre Lima on the back foot. Andre Lima was on his face, just in front of him, just putting endless combinations, and Naimov didn't have an answer for it. He really does struggle on the back foot, and obviously he got subbed in the third round in that fight. But yeah, if you give him timing, if you give him space, he does really good. If you don't, if you get on his face, he struggles. His grappling, for someone who has an OV for the last part of his last name, Naimov, he does not have OV grappling. His grappling is pretty mid. I would say it's good enough, basically. I would say that's what his grappling level is. Just good enough to make you think about it, but not good enough to hold you down, take you down, boom, just like that, hold you down and submit you. It's not like that. It's just decent. Mario Santos, on the other hand, he's 3-0. Should be 2-1 in my opinion. He definitely lost to Francis Marshall. That dude, he robbed the hell out of Francis Marshall. Just saying. I don't know how he got the decision, but he did. He's good. He's good. He has power. He is a bit patient on the striking, which is not looking good for him if he's going up against Naimov. He has a pretty good takedown defense, and because Naimov doesn't have good takedowns, he isn't good at it. He's gonna be doing a pretty good job defending Naimov's takedowns. That's for sure. I can guarantee you. But yeah, no, Muhammad. I don't know. I'm low key. I also think stylistically, I think Naimov gets this done, especially because he cheats a lot. He glove grabs, he nut shots. I'm going with Naimov. Cheating right now in the UFC, you can get away with it. Cyril Gane versus Tom Aspinall, you can get away with cheating. You're saying. I'm going Naimov. He's gonna win this fight. Mario Santos isn't an aggressive striker, and to put Naimov on the back foot, he's patient himself. So Naimov has pretty good striking. So I'm gonna go with Naimov. Decision win. I don't think he's gonna finish Santos, but I got Naimov. Next up, middleweight. Mansour Abdul Malik versus Antonio Trocoli. Now this was basically just a protected prospect. The UFC is protecting him, and they're just feeding him a can. That's basically what it is. They've been doing this with Gautier and like some other opponents out there. They just protect them. They protect them with just giving them like cans or like on losing streaks. Abdullah is the thing is I'm not high on Abdullah. I do think Abdullah is kind of mid. He has good power, decent striking, but that's about it. I wouldn't really call this dude like a future champ or anything like that. I don't think this dude is like a world beater. Maybe I'm pretty sure he would be struggling at like be even reaching the top 15. But for right now, there's an easy win for him. An easy layup. Trocoli is not that good. He's on a losing streak. Hasn't won a fight in the UFC to be more blunt, but yeah, I'm gonna go with Mansour Abdul-Malik. He's gonna get the first round KO finish for sure. And they're gonna keep on feeding him cans up until he gets someone who's decent, and he's probably gonna struggle. But yeah, right now, first round finish. Next up, light heavyweight, Iwo Baraniewski versus Ibo Aslan from Poland, Polish Power. Ibo, he's undefeated. All but first round finish, by the way. First round finish. He's never seen the second round in his pro career. He looked pretty untouchable. Even his second last fight in the regional scene, if you see that fight, he literally leg kicked a dude, and the dude went flying across the cage, like with a leg kick. That's impressive, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like the fact that he hasn't gone to the second round is kind of like worrisome if he's going up against someone who like Ibo Aslan, who is pretty good, like good enough to like survive a first round against a powerful puncher. In the Naimov Consider series, he also had a 20-second KO finish. And I don't think that he's gonna be able to do that to Ibo. Ibo is, I mean, he's 2-2 right now in the UFC. He lost his last 2 fights. I would say Ibo has, obviously just look at the number 6 fights and what is this? 17 fights to get. So 6 versus 17 fights. Ibo has way more experience. Yes, he did lose to Ian Kutalaba, Ibo, Ian. All these dudes have like 3-letter names that start with I, have an N in it. But anyways, a little bit fun fact, I guess. Anyways, Ibo Aslan, he lost to Ian. Bad loss, and I'm pretty sure that bad loss mentally like messed him up. That's why he didn't do that good in the Elikana fight. Kind of like Francis Ngannou when he lost to Stipe, and he got kind of embarrassed in that fight. And then fought Derek Lewis and didn't want to engage at all. I mean, it was Derek Lewis. Derek Lewis himself has power. It was a horrible performance. He was very patient. I think this is the exact same way he fought Elikana. Ibo Aslan was just patient. Didn't want to engage and lost. Let the fight get past him and lost the decision. So I do think if he's coming in like confidently against some guy making his debut, I'm gonna favor Ibo Aslan. Even like he's bigger, longer reach, not that old. He's 29, so like barely reaching his prime. He has power of himself, and he's seen the second and third rounds before, so it's not like this dude. He only fought one, like only has fought in the first round, which it's a good thing on its own as well because there's that you're really good, but he's fighting cans basically. He's fighting cans. Ibo Aslan has fought like decent opponents. Ian Kutalaba's kind of there. He's not that good, but he's good. I'm going with Iwo Aslan. I do think he's gonna beat some guy making his debut in the UFC. He's gonna get it done. But I do think this Baraniewski dude, once he loses his debut fight, I do think he's gonna be doing pretty good in the future. I do think he has a future in the UFC. But right now, I just think Iwo Aslan wins this fight. Yeah. Lightweight, Edson Barboza versus Jalen Turner. The return of Jalen Turner. Wait, give me a sec. Anyways, Jalen Turner returning from his I'm no more Spider-Man arc. When Peter Parker didn't want to be Spider-Man anymore, he gave up and like threw the Spidey suit in the trash can. And then he's like, and then he looked at the state of the New York, and then he decided to come back and was like, you know what? Actually, the New York actually needs me, and he puts the suit back on. This is Jalen Turner right now. He's putting back the Spider-Man suit to return to lightweight and put a beating on old man Edson Barboza. The thing is, Jalen Turner, he obviously retired because he went like 4-1 his last 5 fights. When you lose that much, you obviously get discouraged to keep on fighting, and he retired. The thing is, Jalen Turner is really good. He's really good. He low-key I mean, if we're gonna be honest, he lets the fight to get past him. He should have beaten Dan Hooker. He should have beaten Mokano. He should have beaten Bahamondes. because he's been beating them. He was beating them in the very first beginning of their fights. He was beating them. He just like doesn't even try in there anymore. Like he kind of just gives up, and he loses. You know, MMA is not an easy sport. You can't just not like half-ass it and just expect to win. You know, you gotta actually be on your P's and Q's all throughout the whole fight. You're saying, and it looks like Jalen Turner just like wasn't really being in there. Just saying, like it's just he just doesn't wanna like win. Like he wins, and it's because he's like that good, not because he's actually trying. If he's actually returning to the UFC, it could be mean two things. He only wants a paycheck, or he legit wants to keep on winning in the UFC. And if it's the latter, he really wants to continue winning in the UFC. He's gonna beat the shit out of an old man into Barboza. You're saying Jalen Turner is huge for lightweight, long, rangy, decent power. Barboza, he's gotten slower. He's 39, obviously out of his prime. He's been fighting in the UFC for a long time, but he's out of his prime. Jalen Turner should, destroy Edson Barboza. Jalen Turner would probably be a couple ranked fighters right now. Just saying, like that's how good Jalen Turner actually is. That he was like actually focused. Yeah, this should be an easy one for Jalen Turner. I'm gonna assume Jalen Turner actually is coming here to get a win, to make a statement saying, "Hey, I'm no longer retired. I'm here to actually become somebody in the UFC." Even though he already was, but I mean, even like be somebody who's on a winning streak. And I'm gonna assuming Jalen Turner is gonna beat the shit out of Edson Barboza for 3 rounds straight. I don't trust him getting a finish, just for the simple fact that he does kind of give up, but I do think he's gonna win this fight. Decision. I'm gonna go with decision. Play it safe. Last fight of the early prelims, middleweight. Marvin Vettori versus Bruno Ferreira. This is an interesting one because, stay with me. Marvin Vettori is a decision machine, and he has the inability to get finished himself. So he can't finish an opponent, and he can't get finished. Bruno Ferreira never seen a decision in his career. So he's a finish or get finished fighter. So we're dealing with someone who can't finish an opponent and who can be finished versus someone who gets a finish or can be finished. There's like a movable object with a stoppable force right here type of matchup. That's an interesting one. I'm actually excited for this one. Just because of the whole narrative right there going on. I found that out. Just saying, if you want to watch actual interesting content, no, I'm joking. Marvin Vettori, he's Italiano, Gorlomi. This dude looks like he owns like 50 fragrance bottles in his closet or something like that. I'm pretty sure when he goes out, he'll like pops up his collar, puts on like 50 sprays. I know someone who like drowns themselves in cologne, and Marvin Vettori looks like the type of to do that. Anyways, what am I saying? I'm gonna go Bruno Ferreira. I really do think he's gonna get the finish. He's gonna be the first one to finish Marvin Vettori in the UFC. I don't know if Marvin Vettori's ever been finished ever in the regional scene or in the UFC like early in his career. I don't remember exactly, but I'm gonna assume he's never been finished. I'm gonna go with Bruno Ferreira being the first to finish a Marvin Vettori with a submission. I do think he's gonna submit him. Definitely not KO him. Marvin Vettori has an iron chin. He is like a Max Holloway, like from like a 20. He's like a 2020 Max Holloway where he just couldn't get dropped for like forever. Or he was like a Nate Diaz where the fact that he's unable to get dropped or like finished, he just keeps on walking forward and applies pressure, and breaks you down. The thing is, Bruno Ferreira is pretty good. He's kind of small for a middleweight. His boxing is good enough. He's like a Kevin Gastelum basically, but like more power. And the grappling, Gastelum, his grappling isn't, too good. But Bruno Ferreira's grappling is pretty good. Good thing he's gonna take down Marvin Vettori, submit Marvin Vettori in the second round. Second round submission for Bruno Ferreira. That's what I got. Now for the prelims, the first fight at lightweight, Nadim Sadykhov versus Ziam. This is another good fight. Nadim, he's like what? Like he's like, I don't remember. He only has one. Like he's never lost in the UFC, but he has one draw against what's this dude's name? Borshev, something Klaus. You know who I'm talking about. He has one draw with him. It's not that bad. Borshev has pretty good striking, so to get a draw with him is not that bad. Nadim has pretty good boxing of himself. Very good boxing. Like he has like JDM boxing type of boxing. Just saying, like always on the front foot. endless combinations. Like even he implements body shots into his combinations. That's how good he is. And he also does slip at like boxing range, which is pretty good. Because if you slip at like a kicking range, you get pretty. You turn out to be like a Ilya versus what is that dude's name? I forgot, but you know when Ilya got head kicked because he was trying to slip at kicking range. That's what happened. But no, this dude has a good understanding of slipping at boxing range. Good entries. His striking is pretty good. We really haven't seen his aggressive takedowns or anything like aggressive grappling. Only seen it like defensively, and he's pretty decent. You know, he has the OB at the last part of his lane, Sadykhov. So, but I want to say he's like a Islam or like a Khabib or Hamza type of grappler. I'm just saying he's like good enough to just to like not deal with it, just to keep on striking in his fights. For Ziam, on the other hand, he's I mean, I'm just gonna say he's boring as hell to watch. He is so boring. That's because he doesn't really engage. He struggles being entertaining. Just it's not a bad way. He's like what? He only lost like once or twice in the UFC against Terrence McKinney and someone else. I don't remember. Ziam is pretty patient. Just saying, he is really patient, and he does not like to engage as much in his fights. It's not a bad thing for on his end. You know, you kind of keep you know you want to kind of want like keep your brain safe. You know, you want to get CTE, and you only get CTE if you like really get exchange a lot. Ziam, he does a pretty good job circling around the opponent. You know, just he's pretty like rangy for at lightweight. Like fencing, he does a pretty good job fencing at ranges with his jab and stuff, with his leg kicks. Win by points, and because the way he fights is really safe. The way he fights is just like he fights just to win, just to barely win, just to do just enough to win, and he's not really putting himself out there to like be to dominate his opponents. That's why he has like a bunch of decisions. He just wants to like barely win his fights. And the thing is, Nadim Sadykhov, he does not fight like that. He does not literally just barely win in there. He is on the front foot the whole time, applies pressure, pushes up against the cage. Yan up against the cage is not that good. He gets kind of bullied in exchanges, and that's because he's kind of pretty long limbs. And it's really hard for him to like strike in close range. That's why he likes to fight, fight at long range and just keep his distance and not engage as much. Nadim is gonna get in his face, just saying, and I do think he's gonna win this fight because he's gonna apply that pressure and make Perez uncomfortable in the octagon. And like I said, Nadim has insane combinations, like JDM level type of combinations, type of boxing. I'm going with Nadim. I'm gonna go with Nadim Sadykhov getting it done, beating Perez, probably finishing him actually. I got a third round finish. I think he's gonna beat him up for like 2 rounds straight and then finish him in the third. Like I said, Perez Yan, I mean his grappling offense is not that. I mean I want to say it's like dominating. And Sadykhov has a good takedown defense and like just good enough just to like keep it on the feet. And that's what I think is gonna happen. I don't think Ferreira is gonna keep able to hold down Sadykhov at all. And I think he's gonna stay on the feet, and Sadykhov is gonna beat the shit out of him. I got Sadykhov third round finish. Women's flyweight, Macy Barber versus Karine Silva. Yeah, man, Macy Barber is so. Anyways, that was a hard one because I kind of want to pick Macy Barber. Karine Silva is pretty good. Macy Barber is good herself. She's really good. Her striking. I would probably favor Barber's grappling over Silva's. I would favor Silva's striking over Barber's. So there's a predicament we're here. All right, who's more cuter? Macy easily. Oh shoot, I'm gonna go with Karine Silva. I generally do. Am I gonna get a pick right? I'm gonna lean. I have more confidence in Karine Silva. I have more confidence in her winning this fight. I don't know. I'm gonna say her striking is way more better than Barber's, and I'll say Barber's grappling is like slightly better than Karine's. So I'm gonna go with Silva. I do think she's gonna win. Decision. Yeah. Next up, lightweight Terrence McKinney versus Chris Duncan. Now this is just a coin flip. It's like what I don't know. Terrence McKinney is such a weird fighter. Like his resume is so weird. Dude's never seen a decision himself. Just like Bruno Ferreira. This dude's never seen a finish. And I think he's only seen the third round once ever in his career. Not even the UFC. Just like in the Reno scene, he's seen like the third round. This dude only seen like a couple, like 2 or 3 second rounds in his whole career in the UFC. All like majority just first round finishes. He's getting finished. He's finishing the opponents. He finished for Ziam, which is a pretty good win for Terrence McKinney. This dude is weird. I don't know how to explain it. I feel like this dude like when he got into the UFC, like some genie went up to him and says like here's some video game perks. Like choose between these video game perks, and he's like he chose a video game perk where he like you can get like a 100% win finish. But the debuff is you also have like a good chance to get finished yourself. Terrence McKinney is weird as hell. He's so exciting, but I think Chris Duncan is he's good. I wouldn't say he's like a high level fighter, but he's good. He's good enough to probably finish Terrence McKinney in the first round. And that's kind of what I lean towards. I do think Terrence McKinney in the coin flip type of scenario. I do think Chris Duncan has the better chance at getting the first round finish than Terrence McKinney is. I'm gonna lean towards Chris Duncan. I think he's gonna win this fight. First round finish KO. He's gonna probably drop Terrence McKinney with like a I don't know. Terrence McKinney fights look scripted. I'm just gonna be honest. They look scripted, but yeah, I'm with Chris Duncan. First round finish. Next up, lightweight Grant Dawson versus what's his first name? I forgot his first name. Manel Torres. Okay, so Manel Torres is really good. He's super exciting to watch. Like I don't think he has like a decision in his career. He's like I don't know what is he. He's like 5-1 right now in the UFC. He like lost to Bahamondes by KO finish. He himself has been getting a lot of finishes. He's really good, really exciting to watch. He gave us a pretty nasty performance against what's the dude's name? Why did I forget this dude's name? Drew Dober. Oh my goodness, I forgot his name. That was an amazing performance. He's super exciting to watch. Kind of like a John Silva type of deal. But thing is, this fight kind of makes me a little bit sad because he's facing off against Grant Dawson. You know? He's gonna make this fight extremely boring because it does not take like 10 seconds for Grant Dawson to like shoot for a takedown. And he is gonna get it because he is really strong and really good at getting those takedowns. He has that I was about to say iron turtle. He has that turtle back, like type of like wide ass bag that you know when you see a wrestler with that wide bag, you know like oh you're gonna get taken down and held down for sure. Grant Dawson is really good. He only lost to Bobby Green. This was a Bobby Green victim. Like he, whenever I think of Grant Dawson, that's like the first thing that comes to mind. Just the Bobby Green like KO. But anyways, he strikes with Montel Torres. He's gonna get chinned. You know what? It's something that I'll always like think about whenever I make these predictions. Like, oh, the grappler who's like super good at grappling versus like a striker. Oh, the grappler's gonna win. But sometimes the grappler decides to strike with a striker and gets chinned in the first round. Sean Brady versus what the Michael Morales or like JD. I mean, no. It was there's a bunch of fights where I say, oh, the grappler's gonna win. They strike with a striker and they get chinned in the first round, and I would not be mad at that if that happens and Grant Dawson gets chinned by Torres. The thing is, I'm gonna lean towards Grant Dawson not being stupid, and he already got chinned himself by Bobby Green. You know, that's really gonna demotivate him to want to strike with someone who's like Torres, who is a finisher. I don't think he's that stupid. Sean Brady, what the fuck were you doing against Michael Morales? Fucking dumbass. Anyways, Grant Dawson, I think he's gonna grapple with Torres, and he's probably gonna win. Torres has pretty good like defense on the ground, but Dawson is pretty nasty at ground and pound and submission threat. But I do think Torres is gonna be able to do a good job to survive, and I'm gonna guess Dawson's gonna win by control time decision win at the 3 rounds. Boring to watch, yes, but that's the reality. You know, we got some of these fighters that are just boring in the UFC. Oh well. But yeah, Grant Dawson decision. First fight of the main card, light heavyweight Jan Blachowicz versus Bogdan Guskov. Now when this fight got announced, the whole world around me like slowed down. Like when I saw this on my Instagram feed, everything around me slowed down. My heart started going boom, boom, boom. And everything went out of focus. My heart dropped. And I was like, what the? I was annoyed, just saying. they're gonna get John Blachowicz like Dominic Reyes or like Nikita Krylov or like they can like make Anthony Smith come back say like, oh, just please fight one more time or something like that. Oh, I might not watch this fight live this weekend. I'm probably gonna skip this fight because if I see, well, I don't know how I'm gonna react if I see John Blachowicz get chinned in front of my eyes. If I see John Blachowicz get chinned, I'm gonna be hanging from my closet right there because I. Okay, let me start by saying John Blachowicz obviously has slowed down since the Alex Ferreira fight. He hasn't fought over a year since the Alex Ferreira fight. I mean, he did pretty good against Alex. You know, Alex. That's a good aging performance. He was like a really close fight. I don't remember it was a split decision. I think it was a split decision win for Alex Ferreira. Easily could have gotten to Jan Blachowicz, if we're gonna be honest. Very good performance against Alex Ferreira. That was a good aging win. He doesn't fight for over a year. Comes back against Oberg, and he aged like not just visually, like slightly more whiter hair, slightly more flabbier, but his footwork, his timing, his speed, everything slowed down. He looked ring rusted for sure. And the thing is, that version of Oberg, who clearly was more aged and that like in his prime, still gave a beating to Oberg. So that gives me some confidence in Jan Blachowicz at least. The thing is Oberg better than Guskov? Probably. I would say Guskov has that one-touch death. Oberg really doesn't really have that. Like, he does, but not really. I want to say he was able to. I don't think Oberg was able to chin Jan Blachowicz at all in their fight. Bogdan does have that chance to chin Jan Blachowicz. When was the last time Jan Blachowicz got chin? I think it was the last time it was against Thiago Santos, and that was like years ago. Probably like 6 years ago. But he still can get chin. Jan Blachowicz can still get chin. He's 42 right now. You know, he's not that old, but he is up there in age. It's just, is Jan Blachowicz able to survive Oberg? Oh, I mean, not survive. He actually, in my opinion, he beat Oberg, but Jan Blachowicz came to a close decision with Oberg, who probably is gonna be in better shape this time around because that fight was early this year. Now he's getting back in there again against Bogdan. He's gonna like stay more active this time around and not fight for over a year. He's probably gonna look better this time around. So that gives me a lot of confidence that Jan Blachowicz, even in his like looking like a older version of himself, which he is, but an older version of himself still was able to like keep up with Oberg and probably win the fight. And now he's coming back like once again quickly to be active and not be inactive and get rid of that ring rust. Did he beat Bogdan Guskov? Bogdan Guskov was pretty good. I will say Bogdan. I mean, there's a way for Jan Blachowicz to win this fight like 100% as a grappling. Jan Blachowicz has pretty good grappling. He was able to get to Alex Pereira's back. I mean, it was Alex Pereira like his light heavyweight debut, so it wasn't like really dominant Alex Pereira. But he has good grappling, that's for sure. His grappling is good enough to win. To probably take down a Bogdan Guskov. And Bogdan Guskov gets easily taken down. If we're gonna be 100% honest, he got taken down by Ozdemir. Or did he get taken down by Ozdemir, or did he get dropped? I think he got dropped and got submitted by Ozdemir. But anyways, he got taken down by Ryan Spann easily. Ryan Spann was able to control him for the second half of the first round, and he got checked in the second because he didn't go for the takedown once again. But yeah, he easily got controlled by Elikana. Easily got controlled by Ryan Spann. Jan Blachowicz has better grappling than Elikana and Ryan Spann, I'm assuming. So he probably could probably take down Guskov and submitted him. Jan Blachowicz almost subbed Alex Pereira as well. I think it was the second round he almost subbed him, or was it the first round? But yeah, Jan Blachowicz. I don't know. I'm not gonna watch the UFC anymore if Jan Blachowicz gets chinned in front of my eyes. I couldn't deal with it. Look, I got to see Dominic Reyes get chinned by Oberg. I got to see Ngannou get chinned by Anthony Joshua, but that wasn't the UFC, so that wasn't like a hard job, but it wasn't like not wanting to watch the UFC. But bro, there's some losses in the UFC where like I just come this close to not watching. I come this close to not watching anymore. This might be the final straw. If I see John get chinned, I don't know what I'm gonna do. But anyways, if Jan Blachowicz goes for the takedown right away and submits Bogdan, and I mean if he goes for the takedown right away, he has a pretty good chance to submit Bogdan Guskov. He's no longer ring rusted. He's gonna be a little bit more active this time around, a little bit more sharper since the Oberg fight. So that gives me a little bit more confidence he's gonna win this fight. And I'm not, listen, I might be coping this whole time. I'm gonna go with Jan Blachowicz. I think he's gonna win. He's gonna get a submission first round submission. If he's smart, Jan Blachowicz, you're watching this, take him down. I don't know, but yeah, Jan Blachowicz first round submission. Bantamweight, Henry Cejudo versus Peyton Talbott. Now, the biggest issue you can probably have, I mean, the biggest question, not issue, but the biggest question is, can Henry Cejudo win via grappling against Peyton Talbott? I don't know. That's a good question. Because Henry Cejudo, he doesn't really grapple in his fights. He has pretty good takedowns. I wouldn't say his, like, I don't know. He really doesn't really grapple in his fights, that's for sure. He really likes to strike. You cannot do that with Peyton Talbott. Peyton Talbott, I mean, just look at the height difference. 5'4" versus 5'10". Reach, 6'4" versus 70.5. Peyton Talbott is young. Henry Cejudo is at the age. Henry Cejudo is still pretty quick for bantamweight. You know, he still was able to keep up with Song Yadong in his fight. I don't know. Peyton Talbott looked really good against Andre Lima. Very good. Yes, he looked horrible in the Raoni Barcelos fight. Was getting taken down easily and just held down there. Just like he didn't even look like he was even trying to get up. Like it just looked like he never grappled a day in his life. And then the Andre Lima. Listen, the Raoni Barcelos fight was earlier this year. It was like the beginning of this year. And then the Andre Lima was in the middle of this year, and the improvement was insane. Like he was able, his reversals just to get back on top against Andre Lima were really good, like very technical, like stuff you wouldn't even like obviously not like white belt level. Like he was for Peyton Talbott to improve that quick is pretty impressive. Just saying. It looked like he was only focused on his grappling for like those like the 5 months or like whatever how many months apart those two fights were. And now the end of the year, so he has a whole year to improve. It is Henry Cejudo. He is he did win a medal at the Olympics. But the thing is, this is MMA. You know, this is different. You know, you can get chinned right away. You can get hammer fisted on the ground. There's plenty of different ways Peyton Talbott can probably get back up. This isn't, you know. And also, Peyton Talbott is long. You know, Henry Cejudo is small. He's gonna really have to work for those takedowns against a much taller, strong bantamweight. Peyton Talbott at bantamweight has crazy power. Good striking, like pretty good striking. I would say like Sean O'Malley type of striking, probably. Really good striking. I wouldn't say as versatile, but as effective. You know, Peyton has effective striking, not versatile striking. But yeah, kind of like a Joe Piper and Ngannou, where you know those two guys don't really have aren't high level strikers, but it's effective where they can just drop you either way. So I don't know with Peyton Talbott. I truly do think he's gonna win this fight. I do think that's like stylistic nightmare for Henry Cejudo. If Peyton Talbott with grappling, with like takedown defense and like reversals, that's a nightmare matchup for Cejudo. I would say so for sure. I got Peyton Talbott. Probably first round finish or second round KO. I'm gonna lean towards the second round KO finish. I got Peyton Talbott. Next up, flyweight Brandon Moreno versus Tatsuro Taira. This one's another good fight. Brandon Moreno, Tatsuro Taira. Hikano versus Japon. Arigato. They're both gonna be fighting for the love of Goku. I mean, yeah, Japanese people do love Goku, right? I mean, obviously Goku is Japanese, but I'm not sure if Dragon Ball is like super huge. I mean, obviously I think it is, but I mean, Goku is huge in Mexico. There's literally like taco stands with like Goku murals on the fucking wall. It's pretty funny. But anyways, Brandon Moreno striking is tricky. And what I'm trying to say is Tatsuro Taira, even though he improved his striking since the Brandon Royval fight and the Park fight, even if he improved his striking to like a good enough level, Moreno's striking is very unorthodox, as in it's just weird to like deal with. It is pretty simple, you know. He just ducks down and throws overhands. I'm pretty sure once you're in front of Moreno, it's like very hard to deal with. I'm imagining, and I don't think Satoru Taira is going to be able to adjust at all against Moreno's striking. Satoru Taira's striking is still very lacking, and even if he improves, he's still going to struggle. The only way Satoru Taira can win is via grappling, and I don't know if he could has a pretty good job controlling Moreno, the way he was able to control or Brandon Royval or the Park dude, the Korean guy. I don't think so. I do think Marlon Moreno right now, 31, so he's not that old. He's like been fighting for like a while, but he's still in his prime. And Tattoo Taira is 25, still a little bit young, improving a lot each time he fights. I'm gonna go with Moreno actually. I do think the fact that Moreno's probably gonna be easily be outclassing Tatsuro Taira on the striking, and then the way he fights, when he dips down, he lowers his center of gravity, making it much harder for Tatsuro Taira to get the takedowns. I do think Moreno's probably gonna win this fight decision. I don't think he's gonna get the finish. I just think right now Tatsuro Taira needs a little bit more improvement, a little bit more, just to be able to like become like a really dangerous fighter in the future. He is really good. Don't get me wrong. He's really good. His grappling is second to none. He probably has better grappling than Pantoja. Slightly better grappling than Pantoja, I would say so. And Mokai was back in the UFC. I would say Mokai has the best grappling in the UFC. But I'm gonna go with Brandon Moreno. I just think right now he probably wins this fight. Yeah, I think so. Shoot, this is actually a 50-50, but Moreno, I'm gonna go with Moreno. He's gonna defend the takedowns and I'll strike Tatsuro Taira. Decision win. Co-main flyweight title fight: Alexander Pantoja versus Joshua Van. Now, when I say we're all Joshua Van, we're all Joshua Van. We're all gonna be rooting for Joshua Van. I don't know. Let's be honest. This is too soon for Joshua Van. And yes, it was too soon when he fought Brandon Royval. But that was different because Brandon Royval is not a grappler mainly. He's really just strikes. And his takedown, like his grappling in general is not that good, I would say it's like kind of lacking in Royval's game, his grappling. And so kind of like he was obviously gonna strike with Joshua Van. And Joshua Van is like probably the best striker at flyweight. His boxing is really good. Now he does get hit a lot, that's for sure. But I would say once he like finds the timing, you get your ass beat. Like Joshua Van is so good once he like finds the marking, you're done. He's gonna beat the shit out of you. He only got finished once in the UFC against what's his name? Johnson. I forget this dude's first name. Johnson. The Joshua has like at flyweight, that dude's huge and has kill power. It was like a stylistic nightmare for Joshua Van. And Joshua Van was doing pretty good in that fight up until the KO finish, so it's not like he was like, just getting destroyed in that fight. Alexander Pantoja, like I said, this is way too soon for him. Not for Joshua Van. Alexander Pantoja, he's right now that guy at flyweight, grappling, dominance. Joshua Van, I don't think Joshua Van can prove enough right now since the debut fight. I don't think he's improved enough to be able to defend Alexander Pantoja's takedowns. Listen, Joshua Van has good takedown defense, but this is Alexander Pantoja. Like, not only is his takedowns really good, he mixes in with the striking and the takedowns, kind of like an Islam thing where he has the striking and the takedowns, and it makes it really hard for you to like think about the takedowns because he is gonna be out striking you if you're only focusing on the takedowns. So it's like very hard to fight Alexander Pantoja. That's gonna be really hard for Joshua Van, who is pretty young, not just in general, but like in the UFC, he's pretty young. I don't know. It's really hard for me to trust Joshua Van winning this fight. Listen, I'll be cheering out of my mind if I see Joshua Van defend the takedown and keep it on the feet. I'll be like, holy shit. Like, I would be excited too. I would be screaming out of joy just seeing that, but we don't live in that in good timelines right now. We're kind of like in a lower end timeline right now in the UFC. And I'm gonna go with Alexander Pantoja. Alexander Pantoja has 2 finishes by submission in his last 2 fights. He's not scared to grapple. He's gonna grapple with Joshua Van. He's probably gonna submit him as well. I got second round submission for Alexander Pantoja. Listen, I can already imagine it. I can already imagine Joshua Van is going in there, we were all gonna be cheering like, whoa, whoa, like once the fight starts, they touch gloves, and then a couple exchanges happen. and then Alexander takes him down and holds him down for the rest of the round, and then it's demoralizing to watch. Not just for us, but for Joshua Van. Being on the ground, just being held down easily. He's gonna get demoralized. It's gonna like lower his output in the boxing as well in the second round. That third thing is gonna get submitted, and it sucks. If Joshua Van wins, amazing. Don't get me wrong, I am rooting for Joshua Van, even though I think I am gonna be picking Alexander Pantoja. I'm still gonna be rooting for Joshua Van. But yeah, Alexander Pantoja should win this fight clearly. Main event at bantamweight title fight: Merab Dvalishvili versus Petr Yan. This one is kind of similar to the Alexander Pantoja versus Yan, where realistically Merab wins. He should win. They already fought for 5 rounds already. They already fought before 5 rounders. Merab won all 5 rounds. In my opinion, I'm pretty sure everybody also agrees with that. He won all 5 rounds. He dominated Petr Yan easily. And also like Petr Yan on like I think he was coming off 1 loss against Sean O'Malley. And then before that, he won against someone. I forgot who. And then before that, he fought Aljamain twice before that. But anyway, Petr Yan is still really good. But Merab just showed levels against Petr Yan in that fight. Mainly because of the cardio. He just kept on going for the takedowns. Couldn't really hold down Petr Yan. He kept on failing it. Very Merab-esque, where he just goes for the takedown, doesn't get it, and then just keeps on shooting and shooting and shooting. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of Merab's style, but it is. I guess it is entertaining, and we're gonna hope a little. Let me just start off by saying Petr Yan after the Merab fight fought Deiveson Figueiredo, Song Yadong, and Terrence McKinney, and not Terrence McKinney. Who? McGee, not McKinney. McGee. What's this dude's first name? I forgot his first name. But yeah, that McGee guy, he fought him. Marcus McGee, right? But yeah, I would say, listen, Song Yadong is a good fight. Deiveson Figueiredo, that's a good fight. But the thing is, Merab has been fighting really good fighters as well, like Sean O'Malley twice. Umar, that was his biggest test, and he passed the Umar test. Close fight, but he still passed it. Corey Sandhagen. And Corey Sandhagen finished both Song Yadong and Deiveson Figueiredo. So, MMA math, that's for sure. But like I'm showing you, like Merab has not been facing easy opponents. Petr Yan as well hasn't really been facing easy opponents, but Merab has been in there. This is his 4th fight this year, 4th title defense. He's very active. Fought Umar, beat him, and he's leveling up. Not just in general, but from title defense. From each title defense, he levels up, which is crazy. Because when you think about it, once you become champ, you do not really try anymore to become like better. You're more, instead of like climbing your way up, you're just defending your spot as a champ. And because you're defending your spot as a champ, you're kind of just posting by training. You're not really like trying to find like new ways to win or anything like that, or like try to be like, oh, let me just try to get this takedown quicker, like slightly quicker, boom boom, just like that. You don't really do that as champ. But the thing is, Merab is doing that. He is literally improving each time he fights. He won the rematch against O'Malley with a finish this time around and the decision. Shows that Merab does like to change it up and analyze his opponent for a rematch and win, aka Petr Yan does a rematch. I don't see Petr Yan winning. Listen, I'll be really cool if Petr Yan wins. His style of fighting is super exciting to watch. But we don't live in a timeline where we get the winners that we want to see as champs. Merab low-key should win this. I mean, not low-key, high-key should win this. They already fought before, 5 rounders. Merab has fought Umar. Listen, if Petr Yan fought Umar back in like earlier this year when that fight was like going to happen, and it didn't happen, it fell through. If Petr Yan fought Umar and won like decisively, then yeah, I'll be like, oh, Petr Yan has this, Petr Yan has that. But no, he fought the McGee dude, and the McGee is not gonna prepare you for a Merab. He's not gonna prepare you for that. Merab fighting Umar does prepare you for a Petr Yan a rematch. Aside that, he already fought Petr Yan and won all 5 rounders. I'm gonna go with Merab. He is right now different. Right now, he is on a whole different level since aside from the rest of the bantamweight. The only way Merab loses right now is if he moves up and fights Volkanovski. And he is probably gonna lose in the future once age starts getting to him. You know, he's gonna start slowing down, lose the thing that makes him really good, his cardio, his takedowns and all that. That his all that once it diminishes from age, that's when he's gonna really get his ass beat. But for right now, he's 34, so not that old, but he's getting up there, but not that old. Right now, he is a different animal right now, and he's gonna beat Petr Yan by decision. I don't know. I don't think he's gonna probably finish Petr Yan. Petr Yan is like good to not be finished. So, but yeah, I'm gonna go with Merab. He's probably gonna win all 5 rounds once again. Probably like lose like 1 or 2 rounds. But the thing is, Merab is gonna win. Yeah. Those are my picks for UFC 324. Thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe, and goodbye.